Hi everybody, Suzanne Lyons here. Thank you for coming back and being part of this 10-tip series, which is on how do we deal with stress in the entertainment industry or any industry. And we have been blessed. I must say this is tip number 7, and we had Carolyn Berry with us for tip number 5 and 6, and then we had Barbara Doust with us for tip number 2 and 3, and their knowledge, their wisdom, their advice, their techniques, their tips, all of that was, priceless. I don't know what else to say. Priceless. So I have been just absolutely thrilled to have them come and join us. So now we are on tip number 7, and what today is about is time management. This was one of my, I have to admit, this was one of my very weak areas. Remember at tip number 1 I mentioned back in the 80s, I went through like a lot of stress because I kind of came up the ladder pretty quickly. I was in my 20s at the time. And so there was a lot of stress to deal with it in having a position in management at such a young age in kind of a big industry, the television industry. And I, instead of kind of hiding behind my insecurities and fears at the time, as I started to learn more and more about myself as I was going to that stress clinic and kind of learning about stress and how to deal with all of that, is one of the things I did is search out my weaknesses. And one of my weaknesses I realized, which was certainly creating stress, was time management. It was not something I was proficient in, not by a long shot. So what I did is I went and took a time management course. If that's something you can't afford, if you're thinking, right, Suzanne, I've lost you already because you don't have the money, don't have the time, take a time management course, then maybe find somebody who's one of your friends who's brilliant in terms of being organized and really brilliant at time management, and maybe you guys can just do an exchange, where you're good at something and you help them and they help you. So, or find a mentor who's good in time management. Really important to do that if that's not a good area for you. And I have to say, I noticed in working with thousands of people over the years as a coach, that time management is pretty much a concern and an issue for, probably about 95% of us. It's fascinating how much it comes up. Anyways, here's what I did, is I learned in the time management course that I took to get a day timer or a day runner, or I don't know, whatever your version is. I love mine. I think it changed my life. Because I was so busy carrying so many things in my head, I found it hard to be present, and I found it very stressful. There was just not a lot of room in there. So putting it on paper and creating my list was so valuable. And I love this little one. You can get, there's dailies, there's monthlies, weeklies. I like the weekly one, and I just list, it just is pretty darn simple. You kind of list everything. And what I've learned that I wanted to share with you today is, in doing that, I picked up a couple of little tips and techniques for myself in using my day timer, my day runner. And that is, what I did is at the end of each day, I would do up my list before 5 o'clock, before I leave the office. I would do up my list for tomorrow. So therefore, it's staying at the office. I'm not taking it home with me. Because before, when it was just in my head, I would be anxious going to sleep. I'd be worried in the evening. Did I get that done? Do I need to do that? What do I need to do? It was always hovering around, and I was never at peace with it. So before I leave the office every day, before 5, is I write everything down. Then what I do is I write down the importance of it, kind of in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do it numerically. Some people do it in A's, B's, and C's, like in big chunks of what are those, the categories of importance. I like the numbers. It's what works for me. And as I go through the day, I check them off. Like, if I finished, making that phone call to so-and-so, I check it off. So you kind of feel good as you're going through your day and you check those things off. Then when I come to the end of the day, if certain things didn't get done, like the least important things, then I'll just move them and place them in kind of at the top of the list for tomorrow. So therefore, it's not something, like I said, that I'm taking home with me. That's it. It feels so good. And I'm not married to it. If emergencies happen, emergencies happen. What's so great about having plans, and what's so great about having a to-do list, what people think it's scary. People think it, like, if you make plans or if you do a to-do list, they think it kind of limits you. I find it freeing, because the more that I can plan for things, the more that I can do my to-do list, it actually frees me up to have emergencies, to go in a different direction, to go down a different tunnel if I need to. If something creative is calling me and I want to take the time that afternoon and do that, then I know that, okay, these important things have gotten done already, and I'm just going to move the other stuff to the next day because I know what it is that I have to do. So I find it freeing. Making plans and doing to-do lists are freeing, trust me, because it puts you in the driver's seat. It puts you in control, as opposed to these little things that are hovering in your head where you kind of lose that control. So anyways, I think it's totally valuable. That's it. That's all I got to say about time management for now. So that's my tip number 7. Number 8 and number 9. Yes, I've got somebody else coming to join me. Dr. Joan Pastor. She's also an affiliate. You met Carolyn Berry. Joan is an affiliate teacher with us at mastertalentteachers.com. And she's incredible. She is somebody who is a licensed clinical psychologist. So obviously she will have some incredible stuff to say about how do we deal with stress in the industry. She's also a psychologist to the stars. So she does work with people inside the entertainment industry directly. And in addition, she has extensive practice in industrial and organizational psychology. So she will be very, very well versed in dealing with this particular topic, because I'm sure she's had many clients over the years who have come to her with stress. So we will be very lucky to have Dr. Joan Pastor, with us next Friday and, of course, the Friday after. That's it. Okay. Have a great weekend. Once again, a great week. And I will see you next Friday. Suzanne Lyons signing off.